In a luxurious mansion, the atmosphere is tense. The sound of heels clicking on the marble floor echoes through the grand hall, as a woman in a sleek black dress strides confidently toward the elderly woman sitting on the floor. The elderly woman, dressed in a simple purple dress, winces in pain as the younger woman places her heel deliberately on her chest. The mother, despite the pain, holds back her tears, trying to maintain her composure, but it is clear that she is struggling. Her frail body trembles beneath the cruel force. Standing nearby, the billionaire son of the elderly woman, dressed in an expensive suit, watches the scene unfold. His arms are crossed in a defensive posture, yet his face is filled with helplessness. He knows something is wrong, but he does nothing. He cannot bring himself to stop his fiancée, the woman he loves. His eyes flicker from her to his mother, caught in a struggle between loyalty and love, unsure of what to do. The fiancée smiles coldly, relishing her power, unbothered by the suffering she is causing. She enjoys the control, feeling untouchable in her status as the billionaire's partner. Her eyes gleam with disdain as she steps further onto the elderly woman, making her feel smaller with each movement. The billionaire watches, frozen in place, paralyzed by his own indecision. The tension in the room is suffocating, thick with the unspoken conflict. The mother looks up, her eyes meeting her son's, silently pleading for help. She's in pain, but what hurts more is the betrayal she feels from the very person she raised. The son's gaze wavers, but he does nothing. The fiancée's voice cuts through the silence. "I think it's time for her to learn her place," she sneers, her foot pressing harder into the woman's chest. The elderly woman gasps, her breath shallow. The son finally moves, but instead of intervening, he takes a step back, unable to act. He's trapped between his love for the woman he's engaged to and the mother who raised him. In this moment, he is paralyzed, unable to take action, watching as his mother is humiliated before his eyes. As the scene unfolds in the grand hallway, Maya, the black maid, stands by, quietly cleaning the marble floors. She's been working in this mansion for years, blending into the background, doing her job without drawing attention. But today, she cannot look away from the chaos before her. She sees the elderly woman on the floor, helpless and in pain, her son frozen, unable to move, and the fiancée standing tall, smug in her power. Maya's heart races as she watches the pain and suffering of the woman who has been kind to her, who always greeted her with a smile and treated her with respect. Maya's eyes shift to the fiancée, the woman who, despite her privileged position, is so cruel and unfeeling. It's in that moment that Maya knows she can no longer be a passive observer. She can't just stand there and allow this injustice to continue. Her hands clench into fists, her mind racing with thoughts of what to do. Maya's first instinct is to rush to the elderly woman's side, to help her, to stop the cruel woman from causing more harm. But then, she remembers her place. She's just the maid, the hired help, a woman with no power in this world of the rich and powerful. Her thoughts race as she considers the consequences of stepping in. What will happen to her? Will she lose her job? Will she be fired on the spot? But then another thought crosses her mind. What kind of person would she be if she didn't act? Maya takes a deep breath, pushing aside the fear that threatens to paralyze her. She looks at the elderly woman once more, her heart filled with compassion and a fierce resolve. Maya knows she can't just walk away. This isn't just about a job anymore. It's about doing what is right, standing up for the woman who has always treated her with dignity. She glances at the fiancé again, and the smug smile on her face only strengthens Maya's determination. Without another thought, Maya takes a step forward, leaving her cleaning supplies behind. She approaches the fiancé, her voice steady but firm. "Enough," Maya says, her tone clear and commanding, cutting through the tension in the room. The fiancé looks down at Maya, her smile faltering for just a moment, clearly taken aback by the sudden challenge. For a brief second, the room falls silent, the tension thick in the air. "You need to stop this," Maya continues, her eyes locked with the fiancé's, her body poised with a quiet strength. The billionaire's fiancé scoffs, clearly not accustomed to being confronted by someone like Maya. "What do you think you're doing?" she sneers, her voice dripping with condescension. "You think you can just tell me what to do?" Maya stands her ground, refusing to be intimidated. I'm telling you, this is wrong. You're hurting her, and I won't stand by and let it happen, Maya responds, her voice unwavering. The fiancé takes a step back, shocked by Maya's boldness. For a moment, it looks as though she might lash out, but then she just laughs. You really think you're in a position to stop me? She says, her laughter harsh and derisive. But Maya doesn't waver. She's made her choice. She steps closer to the elderly woman, gently helping her to her feet, her hands steady as she supports her. You're not alone, Maya says softly to the woman, her voice full of compassion. The fiancé, realizing that Maya is not going to back down, steps away, her expression now one of disdain rather than superiority. The billionaire, still standing off to the side, watches the scene unfold, his face conflicted. He knows that something has changed in this moment, but he's not sure what to do. Maya doesn't look at him. She only focuses on the woman she's helping, guiding her away from the confrontation. As the tension in the room begins to dissipate, Maya quietly exits the scene, her heart pounding but her conscience clear. She's taken a stand, and no matter what happens next, she knows she's done what is right. The moments after Maya steps in, the room is charged with an uncomfortable silence. The elderly woman, supported by Maya, is slowly helped toward a nearby chair. The fiancé stands, still seething, her anger barely contained. The billionaire, despite the tension, remains frozen, unable to make a move. His gaze shifts from Maya to his mother, a mix of guilt and confusion on his face. He knows what just happened is wrong, but he is unsure of how to navigate this situation. The fiancé, recovering from the shock of being confronted, takes a deep breath and steps forward. You really think you can stop me? She asks, her voice dripping with disdain. Maya doesn't flinch. She simply looks at the fiancé with unwavering resolve. I know what's right, and I won't stand by while you harm someone, she replies. The billionaire's fiancé scoffs and shakes her head, her expression one of contempt. You're just a maid. What do you think you're going to do? She spits. Maya holds her ground, her eyes locked with the fiancé's. I may be a maid, but that doesn't mean I don't know what's right. You've crossed a line, and I'm not going to let you get away with it, Maya says, her tone calm but firm. The billionaire watches the exchange, his heart heavy. He's torn, caught between the woman he loves and the woman who gave him life. He's witnessed the cruelty of his fiancée, but he's always turned a blind eye. Now, seeing Maya take a stand, something shifts within him. He realizes that he cannot continue to ignore the truth. You need to leave, the billionaire finally speaks, his voice quiet but firm. The fiancée turns to him, disbelief on her face. What did you just say? She demands, her voice rising in anger. You heard me, the billionaire replies, his voice gaining strength. Leave, now. For a moment, the fiancée stands frozen, as though she can't believe what she's hearing. But then, her expression darkens. You're making a mistake, she says, her tone laced with venom. You don't know what you're doing. The billionaire doesn't waver. I know exactly what I'm doing. You've shown me who you really are, and I won't stand for it anymore. The fiancée looks around, her eyes narrowing as she realizes she has no support. The room is silent, the tension palpable. Slowly, she turns on her heel and walks toward the door, her steps filled with anger and defeat. As she exits, the billionaire stands still, his eyes following her, but his mind is elsewhere. He knows this is just the beginning. The room is now quieter, the weight of what just transpired settling in. Maya stays by the elderly woman's side, offering comfort and support. The billionaire finally walks over to his mother, his steps slow, heavy with regret. He kneels beside her, taking her hand gently. I'm so sorry, Mom, he whispers, his voice thick with emotion. I should have done something sooner. The elderly woman looks at him, her expression a mix of sadness and understanding. It's not too late, my son, she says softly. You can still make things right. The billionaire looks up at Maya, who has quietly stepped back, giving them space. Her eyes meet his, and for the first time, there's a silent understanding between them. He nods to her, a silent acknowledgement of the strength she showed, of the courage to do what he couldn't. Maya nods back, her heart heavy with the knowledge that the journey ahead will not be easy. But for now, it feels like a small victory, a step toward something better. The billionaire stands up, his posture straightening, his resolve strengthening. He looks down at his mother one last time, before turning to Maya. "Thank you," he says quietly. "I won't forget this." Maya simply nods, her gaze steady. She knows that what happened today was just a glimpse of the truth, a glimpse of what's to come. The real work is only beginning. In the days following the confrontation, the tension in the mansion is palpable. Maya continues to carry out her duties. But now, there's a new weight in the air, an unspoken shift. The billionaire, his fiancée gone, doesn't look at her the same way. Maya, though, doesn't look at him at all. She keeps her distance, her focus solely on her work, but her thoughts are elsewhere. She's still haunted by the image of the elderly woman on the floor, her quiet strength in the face of betrayal, her son's failure to protect her. It's all too much to bear, yet Maya knows she did the right thing. Every day, as she goes about her chores, she feels a little more like a person with agency, with purpose. She is not just a maid anymore. She is someone who stood up for what was right. One morning, as the sun filters softly through the large windows of the grand foyer, the billionaire approaches Maya. She doesn't notice him at first, her back turned as she arranges the flowers in the vase. "Maya," he says, his voice quiet, almost hesitant. She doesn't look up immediately, not wanting to show that she noticed him. "Maya," he repeats, a little more firmly. She turns to face him, meeting his gaze for the first time since that day. There's a shift in his expression, something softer, something more vulnerable. "I want to apologize," he says, his words heavy with regret. "I should have stood up to her, to protect my mother. I should have done something, anything." Maya's gaze flickers briefly to the floor, but she doesn't respond immediately. She can see the pain in his eyes, the genuine remorse. It's clear he's struggling, carrying the weight of his inaction. She pauses, considering her words carefully. "It's not about what you should have done," she says, her voice steady, calm. "It's about what you do now. You can't change the past, but you can make things right moving forward." The billionaire nods, his gaze unwavering. "You're right," he says softly. "I can't undo the damage, but I can start by doing better, by standing up for what's right." He looks at Maya with something resembling gratitude, but also a quiet admiration. "I don't know how I can ever repay you for what you did," he continues. Maya shrugs slightly, turning her gaze back to the vase of flowers. "You don't have to repay me," she says simply. "I did what anyone would have done in my place." But the billionaire shakes his head. "No, you did something many wouldn't have the courage to do. You risked everything to do what was right. I can never forget that." Maya doesn't know how to respond to that. It's strange, hearing him speak so openly, so vulnerably. She's used to being invisible, to being the person who goes unnoticed, just doing her job. But now, she's seen, she's heard, and it feels strange. "What happens now?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. The billionaire exhales deeply, as though a heavy burden has been lifted from his shoulders. "Now," he begins, his voice steady, "I need to rebuild. I need to fix the damage I've caused, not just with my mother, but with myself. I need to make things right, and I want you to know that I'll do whatever it takes." Maya watches him for a moment, her heart heavy with the weight of his words. She knows that this is just the beginning for him, that the road ahead won't be easy. But in this moment, she sees something she hadn't seen before, the beginning of change. The billionaire isn't perfect, but he's trying, and that's all anyone can ask for. "I believe in you," she says softly, her voice steady with quiet strength. "But the real work begins now." He nods, his expression serious. "I won't let you down," he promises. And for the first time, Maya believes him. As the days pass, she notices subtle changes in the mansion. The billionaire spends more time with his mother, making amends, trying to repair the damage that had been done. There is still a long way to go, but Maya can see that he's trying. And that, in itself, is a start. For the first time in a long while, she feels hopeful. She knows the road ahead will be difficult, but she also knows that with courage, change is possible. And maybe, just maybe, the world is ready to change for the better. In the days that follow, Maya notices a change in the air around the mansion. The tension that once hung like a thick fog seems to lift, replaced by a quiet resolve. The billionaire, still distant, has begun to spend more time with his mother, seeking her forgiveness and working on repairing their broken bond. For the first time, he's making an effort, not just for appearances but because he genuinely wants to make things right. Maya goes about her work, observing from the sidelines, but it's clear that things are slowly changing. The billionaire isn't perfect, and he knows it. But he's trying, and that's what matters. As she walks through the mansion, dusting and cleaning, Maya sees him in the garden one afternoon, sitting beside his mother. He's no longer just the wealthy man he once was. His expression is softer now, a sense of humility in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Maya can see the vulnerability in him, the man struggling with the consequences of his actions, trying to live up to the person he wants to be. It's a stark contrast to the arrogant man he used to be. The one who had looked the other way when his mother needed him most. Now, he's asking for forgiveness. It's a start, but Maya knows that it will take time for the wounds to heal. One evening, as she's finishing her shift, the billionaire calls her to his office. She hesitates at the door, unsure of what to expect. When she enters, he's standing by the window, looking out at the night sky. His face is serious, but there's something different about him now, something real, something human. "Maya," he says, his voice soft but steady, "I wanted to thank you for everything. What you did for my mother, it wasn't just brave, it was the right thing to do." Maya feels a tightness in her chest at his words, but she doesn't respond immediately. Instead, she simply nods, waiting for him to continue. He turns toward her, his expression filled with gratitude. "I've spent my whole life thinking I had everything under control, but I've learned, especially after what happened, that there's more to life than money and power. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard." He pauses, his gaze searching her face. "I've been selfish, Maya. I've been blind to the needs of the people who matter most, including my own mother, and I won't make that mistake again." Maya can feel the sincerity in his words, and though she wants to say something, she remains silent. What can she say? Words feel insufficient now. The billionaire steps forward, his eyes locking with hers. "I've been thinking about everything that's happened, and I want to make it right. I want to offer you something more than just a job. I want to offer you a chance to have a voice, a real one." Maya blinks, surprised by his words. "What do you mean?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. He takes a deep breath. "I want to hire you as a personal advisor, someone who can help me see things more clearly. I know I've made mistakes, and I need someone who can help me navigate them. You've shown me that you're more than just a maid. You've shown me that you're a person of integrity, someone who's not afraid to stand up for what's right, and that's the kind of person I need by my side." Maya is stunned. She spent years in this mansion, invisible to most, just another member of the staff. She never imagined that the billionaire would ever see her as anything more than that. But here he is, offering her something more. For a moment, she feels overwhelmed. She wasn't expecting this. But at the same time, she knows that this is a chance to change not just her life, but the course of his life as well. She doesn't know what to say, so she simply nods. "I don't know what to say," she admits, her voice thick with emotion. "But thank you. Thank you for seeing me, for recognizing that I'm more than just a maid." He smiles softly. "You're welcome," he says quietly. "And you don't have to decide right away. Just think about it." Maya nods again, still processing his words. As she leaves the office, she can't help but feel like she's standing at the edge of something new. She doesn't know where this path will lead, but for the first time in a long time, she feels like she has a choice, like she has a place in the world beyond the confines of this mansion. The real work is only beginning for both of them, but it feels like the start of something powerful, something that could change everything. In the weeks that follow, Maya begins to settle into her new role. The billionaire's offer, though surprising, begins to feel like a turning point in her life. She's no longer just a maid, she's an advisor, a voice that's being heard in spaces where she was once invisible. It's a strange feeling, but also one she's slowly coming to terms with. She spends her days in the mansion, meeting with him, helping him navigate through the complexities of his business, and offering advice that challenges him to look at the world in a new way. It's not easy for him. He's used to being the one in control, the one who makes the decisions. But as the weeks go by, Maya can see that he's starting to change. He listens to her, he seeks her counsel, and he's open to the idea of doing things differently. Maya, for her part, remains cautious. She knows this is a delicate situation. She's been given a chance, but she's not sure how far it will take her. Will the billionaire truly change? Or is this just another phase? Will he grow to truly see her as an equal, or will he always see her as someone beneath him? These questions hang in her mind, but she tries not to dwell on them. She focuses on the work, on helping him make better decisions, on encouraging him to rebuild the relationships he's lost. One afternoon, Maya is in the library, reviewing some documents when the billionaire enters, his expression more serious than usual. "Maya," he says, his voice quiet. She looks up from her work and meets his gaze. "There's something I need to tell you," he continues, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "I've been thinking about everything that's happened, about how I treated my mother, about how I treated you. And I realize now that I've been blind to what really matters." Maya raises an eyebrow, unsure of where this conversation is going. "What do you mean?" she asks. The billionaire sighs, running a hand through his hair. "I've spent my entire life building this empire, but I've neglected the people who truly matter. I've been so focused on power and wealth that I lost sight of what's important. I've hurt people along the way, my mother, you, others, and I'm sorry." Maya listens intently, her heart heavy with his words. This isn't the man she once knew, the man who ignored her and treated people like disposable objects. This is someone different, someone who's truly reflecting on his actions. "I've decided to make some changes," he continues. "I'm stepping down from my position in the company. I'm handing over control to the board and focusing on rebuilding my relationships, starting with my mother." Maya is taken aback by his words. Stepping down from his position? It's a bold move, one that signals he's serious about making things right. But it's also a risky one. "Are you sure about this?" Maya asks, her voice soft but filled with concern. The billionaire nods. "I have to do this. I've spent so much time chasing success that I forgot what true success really is: honor, respect, and love. I can't change the past, but I can start over. I'm not going to make the same mistakes again." Maya is silent for a moment, letting his words sink in. She's proud of him for acknowledging his faults, but she also knows that actions speak louder than words. This will be a long road, and she can't help but wonder if he's truly ready for the change he seeks. "You've taken the first step," she says finally, "but it's going to take time. Real change takes time." The billionaire looks at her, his expression serious. "I know, but I'm willing to put in the work. And I want you to be a part of it. I need your help, Maya. I need you to keep me accountable. I can't do this alone." Maya nods, her heart swelling with a mix of pride and responsibility. She's been given an opportunity, a chance to be part of something bigger than herself. She knows it won't be easy, but she also knows that this is her chance to make a real difference, not just in his life, but in the lives of others. "I'm with you," she says simply. "I'll help you however I can." As the days go by, the billionaire begins to make real changes. He spends more time with his mother, repairing their relationship. And he works hard to turn the company over to the board, ensuring that the people he's hurt in the past are given a voice. Maya continues to guide him, offering advice, challenging him when necessary, and encouraging him to stay true to the promises he's made. There are setbacks, of course. The road to redemption is never easy. But as time goes on, Maya can see the changes in him. He's becoming the man he promised to be, the man who values integrity over wealth, love over power. And for the first time in a long time, Maya feels like she's part of something meaningful, something that will change the world for the better. The days are long and heavy as the billionaire begins to make good on his promise of change. His mother, now more comfortable in her own home, slowly begins to heal from the wounds that had been left unattended for far too long. The billionaire works hard to regain her trust, stepping down from his powerful position at the company and letting the board take over, something that shocks the business world but makes his family breathe easier. He still has moments of doubt, moments where the weight of his past mistakes tries to drag him back, but he doesn't give in. He keeps going, one step at a time, guided by Maya's steady presence. Maya, for her part, watches him closely, seeing the quiet changes he makes, both in himself and in his relationships. It's not easy, and at times, it's painfully slow. But she sees the sincerity in him, the willingness to grow and learn. In a world where so many people are focused on their own power and wealth, the billionaire is choosing to walk a different path, and Maya is there beside him, offering him the quiet strength he's come to rely on. One afternoon, after a particularly long meeting with the board, the billionaire sits down with Maya in the library. He's exhausted, his face drawn, but there's a certain lightness to his demeanor that hasn't been there before. "Maya," he says, his voice steady but tired, "I want to thank you for everything." Maya looks up from the papers she's been reading, her brow furrowed in thought. She's used to his gratitude by now, but something about his tone makes her pause. "You've stuck by me," he continues, his voice softening. "You've been a constant, even when everything around us was falling apart. And I'm not sure what I would have done without you." Maya hesitates, not sure how to respond. She's always been the helper, the one in the background, never seeking attention, but his words stir something in her. She sees the vulnerability in him, the raw honesty that he's been hiding for so long. "You've done the hard part," she says quietly, her voice steady. "You've made the choice to change, and you're following through with it. That's all anyone can do." The billionaire nods, his gaze fixed on her. "I'm trying, Maya," he says, his voice filled with determination, "but I know that there's still a lot of work to do, and I need your help." Maya meets his gaze, unsure of where this conversation is headed. "What do you mean?" she asks, her voice cautious. He takes a deep breath, as if gathering his thoughts. "I want you to be more involved," he says finally, his words slow but purposeful. "I want you to be part of the future I'm building, not just as someone who advises me, but as an equal. You've shown me what true integrity looks like, and I want you to be a part of the changes I'm making, not just for my business, but for my life." Maya's heart skips a beat at his words. She's never been seen like this before, not by him, not by anyone. The idea of being recognized as an equal, as someone who has value beyond her work, is overwhelming. She takes a moment to process what he said. "Are you sure about this?" she asks, her voice soft with uncertainty. "This is a big step." The billionaire nods firmly. "I'm sure," he says. "I wouldn't ask if I wasn't. You've already changed my life, Maya. Now, I want to give you the opportunity to help me build something better. Something real." Maya is silent for a moment, her mind racing. This is what she's always wanted to be seen, to be valued for her worth as a person, not just her position. She's always kept her head down, focused on the task at hand, never expecting anything more. But now, she's being offered a chance to change not just her own life, but his as well. She's being given the power to help shape the future. Slowly, she nods. "I'll do it," she says quietly, her voice filled with conviction. "I'll help you build this future, but we have to make sure it's a future that values people, not just power." The billionaire's eyes soften, a rare, genuine smile breaking through his usually guarded demeanor. "That's exactly what I want," he says. "And with you by my side, I know we can make it happen." Maya stands up, feeling a surge of purpose and determination. This is the beginning of something new, something powerful, and she's ready to walk this path with him, whatever it may bring. As they leave the library together, Maya feels a quiet hope stirring within her. The world isn't perfect, but with people like the billionaire choosing to change, it feels a little brighter. This is just the beginning of a new journey, one that will take them both to places they never imagined, but places they're ready to face, side by side. As the weeks continue to pass, things settle into a new routine. Maya and the billionaire work together closely, day by day, as he navigates the new life he's chosen. He spends more time with his mother, repairing their bond with each passing day, and slowly, the mansion feels like a home again, not just a place of luxury and power. The billionaire's transformation is evident to everyone around him, but it is Maya who sees it the most. She's the one who's there in the quiet moments, in the meetings where he asks her for guidance, in the times when he reflects on his past actions and the mistakes he's made. The mansion is no longer a place of cold, distant wealth. It's becoming a place of warmth, humility, and redemption. Maya stands beside him, not as a maid, not as someone beneath him, but as an equal, a partner in the work of rebuilding his life. But even as they work together, there's still tension in the air. The billionaire knows that actions speak louder than words. It's easy to promise change, but it's much harder to live up to those promises every day. There are still people who see him as the man he was before, the one who ignored the needs of those around him, the one who valued power and wealth above all else. He knows it will take time to rebuild trust, not just with his mother, but with everyone he's wronged. One afternoon, Maya is in the library, organizing some files when the billionaire walks in, looking deep in thought. "Maya," he says, his voice quieter than usual. She looks up and meets his gaze, sensing the weight of whatever is on his mind. "I've been thinking," he starts, taking a seat across from her. "I've made a lot of changes, but I know it's not enough. I still have a lot of work to do, both in my personal life and with the business." Maya listens, her gaze steady, waiting for him to continue. "I've lost a lot of people's trust," he says, his voice tinged with regret, "and I can't expect things to change overnight. But I want you to know that I'm not going to stop. I'm going to prove that I'm capable of being the person I promised to be." Maya watches him carefully, sensing the sincerity in his words. She knows how difficult it is for him, how hard it is to face the consequences of his past actions, but she also knows that change is never easy. "I believe in you," she says softly, her voice filled with quiet conviction. "But it's not just about proving it to other people. It's about proving it to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself every step of the way." He nods slowly, absorbing her words. "I know," he says quietly. "And I'll keep working on it. But I need to ask you something." Maya raises an eyebrow, unsure of what he's about to say. "What is it?" she asks, her voice gentle. The billionaire hesitates for a moment, as if weighing his words. "I want to make it official," he says finally, his eyes meeting hers. "I want you to be part of the company, not just as an advisor, but as someone who has a real role in shaping the future. I know you've already helped me in ways I can't even begin to express, and I want you to have a say in what happens next." Maya is taken aback by his words. She's never imagined that he would offer her something like this, a real role, a place at the table. It's unexpected, and for a moment, she doesn't know how to respond. "I'm not sure what to say," she admits, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "This is all moving so fast." The billionaire smiles gently. "I understand," he says, "but you've been a part of this journey from the beginning. You've seen the changes, you've helped me make them, and I believe you're the one who can help me take it even further." Maya stands still for a moment, her heart racing as she thinks about what he's saying. This is a big decision, a life-changing one, and she knows that the road ahead will be filled with challenges. But she also knows that she's not the same person she was when she first started working here. She's grown, just as he has, and now she has a chance to be a part of something bigger than herself. "I'll do it," she says finally, her voice steady with newfound confidence. "I'll help you, but we need to make sure we do it the right way, with honesty and integrity every step of the way." The billionaire's face lights up with a smile, and he nods in agreement. "I wouldn't have it any other way," he says. And in that moment, Maya knows that this is just the beginning of a new chapter in both of their lives. The future is uncertain, but for the first time, it feels full of possibilities. Together, they will face whatever comes next, side by side, ready to build a new future based on trust, respect, and the values that truly matter. Months pass, and the transformation within the mansion becomes undeniable. The billionaire, now fully committed to the changes he promised, continues to work alongside Maya, not just as his advisor, but as a trusted partner. The company, under new leadership, begins to shift in its approach, focusing on values of integrity, accountability, and respect. Maya's role becomes crucial in this transformation, not just in the company, but in the billionaire's personal life as well. Their bond deepens as they work together to rebuild what had been broken: trust, respect, and, above all, humanity. One day, as they sit together in the garden, discussing plans for the future, the billionaire turns to Maya with a serious expression. "I don't think I've ever properly thanked you," he says, his voice sincere. "You've not only helped me change my life, but you've helped me understand what truly matters. I can never repay you for that." Maya looks at him, her expression soft, but her heart heavy with the weight of their journey together. "You've already done it," she says, her voice steady. "You're making things right. Not just for yourself, but for others too. That's more than enough." The billionaire smiles at her, a genuine, unguarded smile. "I still have so much to learn," he admits, "but I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing, with you by my side." Maya nods, the quiet strength she's always carried now shining through. "I'll be here," she says, "every step of the way." The days of tension, of feeling like something was broken, are long gone. In their place is a sense of purpose, of hope. The mansion, once a place of coldness and silence, is now filled with life, laughter, warmth, and, most importantly, honesty. The billionaire's mother, who had once been ignored and neglected, now finds comfort in her son's presence, and their relationship continues to mend. Together, they are building something new, a new kind of wealth, one that isn't measured in money, but in the strength of relationships, the integrity of their actions, and the love they share. As Maya looks out over the garden, a sense of peace settles over her. She knows that the road ahead won't always be easy. Change never is, but for the first time in a long time, she feels confident that it's worth it. That the work they are doing, the choices they are making, will lead them to a future built on something real, something that matters. The billionaire, who once had everything but was left empty, now stands beside her as an equal, and together, they are facing the world with a renewed sense of purpose. The mansion may never be the same as it was before, but it doesn't need to be. What matters now is that it's a place of growth, of redemption, and of the kind of love that brings people together, no matter their status or past mistakes. And as Maya and the billionaire walk side by side toward the future, they know that whatever challenges lie ahead, they will face them together, united by the bond they've built, one based on honesty, respect, and the understanding that real power lies not in wealth, but in the courage to do what's right. In this powerful Black story, we follow the journey of a billionaire who, after witnessing the abuse of his mother, begins a path of redemption with the help of a courageous Black maid. The billionaire, who once focused solely on wealth and power, slowly starts to transform, guided by the strong values of integrity and respect instilled by Maya, the Black maid. As the story unfolds, we see Maya's quiet strength and determination as she challenges the billionaire to face his past mistakes and take responsibility for his actions. Throughout the story, Maya helps him rebuild not only his relationship with his mother but also the company he once ran with a focus on profit over people. This Black story highlights the deep emotional growth of the characters as they learn the true value of love, respect, and redemption. Together, they face obstacles, rebuild trust, and discover that real power lies not in wealth, but in making amends and doing what is right. The final transformation in this Black story is both heartwarming and inspiring, as Maya and the billionaire work side by side to create a future built on integrity, unity, and love. This Black story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the impact of doing the right thing, no matter how difficult. Watch how Maya's courage changes a man, and how a new beginning is born from an old mistake. This is a Black story of growth, redemption, and the unbreakable bond that can form when two people choose to be better, together.